welcome back to the channel. It is me, the Jack of all trades, also known as Jack. Today we're back with another tier list, but today we're doing it on something that I actually know about. We are doing it on video games. Now, all of the video games over here I have either played on the channel, which on my gaming channel I have played almost every single one of these games except for Minecraft. So I've played every single one of the games on this side except for Minecraft at some point on my gaming channel. Now, I'm going to be rating all these games, and since I actually know what I'm talking about, it's actually going to be a little bit of an entertaining list. So on this side, we've got Windbound, SCP Foundation, Roblox, Rec Room, Playtime Chapter 2, which, by the way, that is going to be coming out May 26th. So right now, this video should be coming out on whatever day, May 20th is Friday, May 21st, right? Whatever day Saturday is. This video should be coming out whatever day Saturday is right before I release Public Playtime Part 2. Public Playtime Chapter 2. So, this should be coming out on a Saturday. Public Playtime Chapter 2 should be coming out the Thursday after that. So, yes, I have played it on the channel. It just hasn't been released yet. Then we've also got Poppy Playtime Chapter 1, Phasmophobia, Gods Will Fall, FNAF 1, Fortnite, Fall Guys, and Among Us. And then Minecraft, which I haven't played on the channel, but I've still played it a lot, so I figured I would put it on this list. So we're going to be ranking all of these games over here today. But before we get started, please, all of you guys, thank you so much for getting me to 25 subscribers. If we could get to 50 subscribers on this channel by September, and 75 subscribers on my gaming channel by September, and 25 on my reaction channel by September, then that would be just amazing. But before we get started, please, all of you guys, subscribe, hit the like button, notification bell, and comment down below what other things you guys want to see me do. There will be links in the description to my gaming channel, my reaction channel, my shorts channel, my Discord server, my TikTok, and my Twitch, and I will also be leaving a link to this tier list website. It's really fun to use, it's easy, it's free, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. So first on this list is Windbound. Now, I've only made part 1 to the series because I'm not going to be doing part 2 for a while because I've just got a full schedule, but I really liked playing Windbound when I first got it. You play as a person who came ashore after getting struck by a sea monster or whatever. I haven't played that much of it. That's just because I've been playing other games, mainly horror games, but from what I've played from it, I really like the strategy of the game, how there's the puzzle of the game, the survival of the game, the overall story of the game. I think that's really cool how you got, just like the ocean vibe that I get from this game, and I really like that part about it. So for that reason, with all of those, I'm going to be putting Windbound in the C column here today, because there's S, and then there is A, B, and I don't think that Windbound really is good enough for B, A, or S, but it definitely fits in the C column, so we're going to be putting it there. And now let's move on to the next game. Okay, we have SCP Containment Breach. Now, just like Windbound, I've only played part 1 of this series, but that's just because I didn't really get a vibe for it. I wasn't really feeling it. This game came out in 2012. You play as a person, you play as a Class D, who is basically just somebody who gets experimented on, who experiments with SCPs. You're sent out by the cops, whatever you call them, SCP people, and you go out, you fight, you look at SCP-173, and then he just starts to chase you. I haven't really gotten that far into the game, but from what I've seen about it, it's a really good horror game. It came out a long time ago, and I wasn't really feeling the vibe for it. So for that reason, I'm going to be putting SCP Containment Breach in the E column, and it's purely just like, I wasn't really feeling the game. I didn't think that I wasn't getting a very good vibe from it. It's old, so it's not the best. It's not the best. And 2, I also don't really think there's much puzzle in this game. It's basically just a look around for the correct items and then use those correct items, which isn't really my kind of puzzle. So I'm going to be putting it in the E column, and now let's move on to the next one. We all know what this game is. This is Roblox, and it is just worldwide. It's basically one of those 101 games in one games where you play the game, but then you can make more games. It's kind of like Rec Room, like I said, but there is just like so many games inside of it. There's Food Facility, there's Hide and Seek, Floor is Lava, There's so many games inside of Roblox. There's the back rooms. it's just basically one of those 101 games in one games that just makes you think, what should I play? And it's just a really good game, and I'm going to be putting it up here in the C column with Windbound, because one, I really like this game. There is just a bunch of opportunity. There is a ton of games that you can play inside of this game, and that just really helps me out, because whenever I'm bored, I just hop on Roblox, see if there's any game that feels intriguing to me, because there are so many games on this game. So whenever I'm bored, I play Roblox. I can find something to play, and then that'll entertain me. Very similar to Roblox, we have Rec Room. This is just exactly the same as what I just said, except with Roblox, yes, you can customize your character, but with Rec Room, you are always in first person, and it looks a little bit more lifelike. It's definitely not anywhere near lifelike, but it looks more lifelike than Roblox. They are basically just the exact same game, except I'm pretty sure you can't play Roblox on VR, but you can play Rec Room on VR. If you guys want to see me play Rec Room on VR, go to my gaming channel, subscribe. But yeah, I'm going to be ranking Rec Room in the exact same spot as Roblox for the exact same reasons, except instead of going on to Rec Room whenever I'm bored, I go into Roblox, but they are just the exact same game, so I'm going to be ranking them in the exact same column. Okay, next up we have Poppy Playtime Chapter 2, Stuck in a Web. Okay, I finished playing this game yesterday. I finished my Let's Play yesterday, yesterday was the 18th, so I finished playing this game, and oh my god, it is one of my favorite games ever. I really like horror games. 2, I really like strategy puzzle games. Poppy Playtime 1 and Poppy Playtime 2 are both just like that. They have horror and they have puzzle, and they just mash together, and they make one of the best games of all time. I would even say that this game is as good as Five Nights at Freddy's. It's really new. Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 only came out like 11 days ago, and I'm just really happy that I got to play it so early. But it was just such a fun experience to be playing, escaping Mommy Longlegs, finding Kissy Wissy, not having to deal with Huggy, finding out Poppy was a good person. Those are all spoilers, I'm sorry. But, okay, this is just one of my favorite games that I've ever played, Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. I'm going to be putting it up here in the S column. It is one of my favorite horror games that I've ever played, and I've played a decent amount of horror games. I haven't played a lot on camera, just SCP Foundation, Phasmophobia, the Hopping Playtimes, FNAF. But I have played a lot off camera, and out of all of those Poppy Playtime series and FNAF, those are two of my favorite ones. Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 is just such an amazing game. It had so much puzzle and horror and strategy in it. That just made me love it so much, and that's why I'm going to be putting it in the S column. Okay, now we have Poppy Playtime 1. I really like this game as well. It had a lot of horror, it had a lot of strategy mashed into one. I forgot to mention, I really like the grab pack in these games. I really like that mechanic. Poppy Playtime 1, however, was a lot shorter. In Poppy Playtime 2, there was a lot of horror just continuously throughout, with like Musical Memory and Bonzo, the Wacko-Wuggy with the mini Huggies, PJ Pug-a-Pillar with statues, Mommy Longlegs, Kissy Wissy. Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 had a lot of horror in it throughout the entire game. Like, there wasn't just a little bit of horror at one part and then no more horror for the rest of the game. It was just throughout the entire game. Poppy Playtime 1, however, there wasn't like almost any horror in this game until the very end when Huggy is chasing you through the vents. So Poppy Playtime 1, not as good as Poppy Playtime 2. Still really good, it's just there wasn't a lot of horror until the very end. Unlike with Poppy Playtime 2, there was a lot of horror throughout. But since Poppy Playtime also had a lot of strategy even when there wasn't horror, I'm going to be putting it up here in the A column, only because it didn't have a lot of horror, unlike Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. Okay, next up we have Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia, another horror game. I think this is the last horror game that I've ever played on the channel. It's just a ghost hunting game. You use your ghost hunting equipment to find out what kind of ghost you are dealing with. You have to not die to it, and it's another horror game, but it's a ghost hunting game. I really like this game, however, definitely not one of my favorite horror games. I do play this a lot whenever I'm bored. I play this with my friends and play by myself. Whenever I'm bored and I don't want to play Roblox or Rec Room or Windbound or Poppy Playtime or whatever else, I usually play Phasmophobia because it's just a really good game to play by yourself. You can play by yourself with other people. You just use the equipment that you get to find out what kind of ghost you're dealing with. It's a really fun game. However, it's definitely not one of my favorite horror games. but I wouldn't rate it down here with SCP, but I definitely wouldn't rate it up here with Poppy Playtime. So I'm going to give it an even B, because it's not one of my least favorite horror games, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. But I'm not marking it down here, because I like to play this game whenever I'm bored, unlike this, and it's a horror game, unlike these. So I'm going to be marking it in the B column. Okay, next up we have Minecraft. I think this is the only game that is actually on this list that I haven't played on the channel myself. I have played it, however, a lot, like, I haven't played it on the channel, but I've played it a lot off camera. I really like the game. I like the animals. I like the characters. I really like the strategy and the survival of this game. Just kind of like with Poppy Playtime 2. Sort of like with Poppy Playtime 2. Like with Windbound, a lot more like Windbound. There's just a lot of survival with this game. Kill the animals, train the pets, be the character, survive the beasts, which I'm sure there's going to be some beasts in Windbound at some point. I would not rate it up here with B, but I'm not going to rate it up here at S or A. But I really like this game. It's been out for a long time. I really like the mechanics. I really like how the game works. And I like just the overall vibe and just like the calming presence of the game. I don't play this nearly as much as Phasmophobia or Roblox or whatever, probably because I sometimes forget I even have it. So I'm going to be marking it down here on C, because it is a really fun game to play. Just haven't played it a lot. But I would really play it if I remembered I had it. Okay, so, Gods Will Fall! I also only played this a little bit. I've only made one part of it. And I really like the survival and the puzzle part of this game. And I also really like I really like horror games. I like storyline games. I really like it when a horror game has a lot of storyline and strategy to it, like Poppy Playtime 1 and 2. I also really like it when strategy games have a storyline in it. And I also like it when horror games have a strategy in it. Just a perfect mix of horror and strategy and puzzle and storyline to this game is what makes it a perfect game. Now, Gods Will Fall does not have the horror aspect to it. I guess you could say it has a horror aspect to it, but I definitely wouldn't. But it does have the puzzle strategy storyline vibe that I'm looking for. It just doesn't have the horror vibe. Now, I don't think I've played this since I released the video, because I liked the strategy storyline part of this game. You get washed up on shore after you try to kill the gods with a bunch of people, and then you have to fight them. Really like that aspect of the game, like the puzzle, the storyline part. Just does not have any horror in it whatsoever, and there's really not any puzzle to it. It's just a strategy storyline game. So I'm going to be marking it down here on D, because it doesn't have a lot of puzzle in it like these games, doesn't have a lot of horror in it like these games. However, it does have the storyline and the strategy like that. So I'm going to be marking it down on the D, because horror is actually a really big aspect in my gaming. Okay, this is probably really hypocritical, because I just said that horror and strategy and stuff is just really big aspects of my channel. But Fortnite. I really like Fortnite. It was so good in its prime. We've got the really good weapons, the really good characters. I really like it. Well, I guess you could say that there is a storyline to it now that we've really developed that story more. However, we do have to take into account the drop of Fortnite. From Chapter 1, Season 1, all the way to, I would say, like, Chapter 2, Season 4. This game was so good. It was in its prime time. But then, Chapter 2, Season 5, all the way to Chapter 2, Season 8, it was just horrible. There was the Primal Season, the alien invasions with the so overpowered UFOs. And then there was the Cube Queen. Fortnite had a really bad drop, but then Chapter 3 Season 1, Chapter 3 Season 2 came out. Now it's a really good game again. So there's the Spider-Man Web Slingers from last season, the tanks, which are kind of like the mechs, but I'm going to let that slide. This was a really good game in its prime, and then it got really bad, and now it's getting good again. However, it doesn't have the horror or the puzzle part of it, but it does have the storyline to it. Now that we have really discovered a storyline to this game with the IO and the 7 and all the other aspects to it, we've got the storyline, and then we've also got the strategy, because with any Battle Royale game, you have to have a strategy to be good at it. Not to mention, Fortnite also has creative and Save the World, which Save the World is just a zombie fighting. I'm going to be putting Fortnite up here with Phasmophobia, because like with Phasmophobia, I play it a lot when I'm bored, And then it also got the storyline aspect to it and the strategy part of it, but I'm not marking it into the A or S because it doesn't have the horror aspect to it. Also does not have the puzzle aspect to it. Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, I've beat this game. I've done all 5 of the main nights. I did the 6th night. Probably, maybe, sometime in the future, I'll maybe do the 7th night. If you guys really want me to, I'll do it, but I did say that I was not going to do it, so that might change, that might not. But from nights 1 to 6, this game is phenomenal. It's as good as Puppy Playtime and Puppy Playtime 2. There's Bonnie and Chica and Freddy, Golden Freddy, and then there's Foxy, all trying to kill you. There's all of the Easter eggs in the game with the posters and Golden Freddy. There's the animatronics. There's the horror aspect. The cameras have just the best hint of oldies, like 1990s, which I'm pretty sure is when this game takes place, along with the... It's just good enough to be acceptable with the cameras. The animatronics look so lifelike, and there's just the horror ambiance that just makes this game so good as Poppy Playtime 2. I'm going to be marking Five Nights at Freddy's up here with Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 because it is just it's got the storyline, it's got the strategy, and it's also got the horror part of it. The only reason I'm not marking it down here with A is because Five Nights at Freddy's is just so... It feels vintage, but not SCP vintage, where you don't get a good vibe from it. But like Five Nights at Freddy's, like horror, you're gonna want to play this game. It's addictive, kind of like old school vintage. That just makes you want to play the game. With Poppy Playtime, there was no horror until the very end. With Five Nights at Freddy's, there's horror from nights 1 to 6, just like with Poppy Playtime 2. There's the puzzle, there's the strategy, which was also in Poppy Playtime 2, and then there's also the storyline, which was in Poppy Playtime 2, which I'm like 99% sure there's gonna be a big storyline. No, I'm 100% sure there's a storyline behind this game, and I haven't really explored into it that much, but I know that there's a storyline. I'm going to be marking it up here with S because it is just as good as Poppy Playtime 2, just better than Poppy Playtime 1, but only slightly. Per unpopular opinion, I really thought Fall Guys was a good game. I know it's like super dead, nobody likes it anymore, but that doesn't stop me from liking a game. I really like Fall Guys. I like how there's the customizable characters, just like with Fortnite. It's a battle royale game, and there's the crowns, there's the obstacle courses. I really like obstacle courses, real life and in game. Fall Guys is a really good game in my opinion. It just died really quick because it didn't have that energy that everybody liked. But it did have that energy that I liked. It's a battle royale game, but it's one of the few battle royale games that doesn't have a storyline or really a puzzle or a horror aspect to it, but I still like it. I really like Fall Guys, but it doesn't have the horror aspect, the puzzle aspect, or the storyline aspect. So I'm going to be marking it down here with C. And last but certainly not least, we have Among Us. Now, this game was good from October 2020 up until about March 2021, and then everybody got sick of it. It was dead from March 2021 to right about like 3 months ago. I started playing it again, and it's actually decent. They added in the new rules. They added in the scientist where you can check the vitals, the engineer you can vent, but you're still the crewmate. The guardian angel while you're dead, and then the shapeshifter as the imposter. They added in some new tasks. Those are really good as well. The new rules are really good. The game was dead for so long after being alive for such a short amount of time, and then it's starting to get more alive again. I've gotten my friends back into it. I got my parents to download this game, and now they play it with me. And they're like 40 years old, so you know that this game's gotta have some kind of potential. This game was dead for a long time, after it had been alive, now it's alive again. It's got some good roles, and it's finally redeeming itself. I sometimes play this game when I'm bored, just because, you know, it's gotten kind of good again. But I definitely wouldn't mark it up here in the S, A, or B column, so I'm going to be marking it with almost all these games in the C column, because I definitely would not mark this as a horror game. It's just a murder mystery kind of game. Some people might call it horror because there's death, but just because there's death, in my opinion, if there's death, that does not make it a horror game. So I'm marking Among Us in the C column because it's got the puzzle, the strategy, no storyline or horror, which is kind of this was a big part of the reason that I'm putting it here in the C. No storyline or horror, but it does have the puzzle and the strategy, and it's gotten really good again. So I'm going to be marking it in the C column. But that is all the time that we have here today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, you know to subscribe, hit the like button, notification bell, and comment down below what other things you want to see me do. There will be links in the description to my gaming channel, my shorts channel, my reaction channel, my Discord server, my TikTok, and my Twitch. And also a link to all of the games that I listed here today. It's going to be a very long description. But thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. See you guys next time!